Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome back to Final Trade. Rudy made a good whiteboard video the other day, and in the last few minutes of it, he talked about being kind to people, being polite, and how we've kind of lost a lot of that. And it reminded me of a funny meme that I saw many years ago, and it showed a guy and how he acted in real life, which was he spoke properly and he was respectful and nice. And then it showed how he acted online, where he did nothing but cuss and talking kind of online gibberish. And, it showed the difference. And I've seen people explain it a little more succinctly, where when you are online, you face different consequences because there's this understanding that if you are rude and disrespectful in real life, someone might just reach out and knock you in the face. You don't exactly face those same consequences online. There are maybe some different consequences, but it's not as immediate and not as visceral. And so I wanted to just kind of tell a little story and share a little artifact with you today. So in 2011, I had started working for a company, and in order to go to work for them and see if they might work out for my career, I had to start commuting basically 300 miles. And so what I would do is on either Sunday night or Monday morning, I would leave my wife and I would drive 300 miles. And then I would work all week and then I would come home on Friday evening. And it was a very stressful time. And as soon as I started working for that employer, I found that they had pulled a giant bait and switch on me in terms of benefits and the work I was going to be doing and many other things. And so there was a time period for several weeks and even maybe into the first several months that I was there. And it was really rough because, I was actively searching for another different job. I was spending something like, I don't know, 9 hours a week in my car driving back and forth. And then the actual commute from where I was living in that city to the workplace was 30, 40 minutes each way every day. So, I started to be a more than a bit of a road rager just in terms of saying bad things in my car, not being dangerous with my car, but just being irritated and letting it out verbally in my car at the time. And it was a very stressful and trying time because I was so upset about getting baited and switched by the employer and being away from my wife for so long during the week and all of it. And so one day, several of the people who I had made friends with there, they were going to order Chinese food, and I told them what I would like to have for lunch. The food came, and then I got a fortune cookie at the end of the meal, and the fortune inside the fortune cookie was this: avoid senseless contradictions with others. And I sat there at my desk and I said, if there's anything more meaningful right now, because I was worried about my ability to do dumb things at the time. And I remember actually taking a post it note and writing on it, don't do anything stupid. And what that would have meant back then for me was basically, snapping at one of my managers or telling one of them to F off or something like that. I was under some pretty extreme stress and very irritated at the time. And so I took this fortune and I put it in my desk. And remember, this is back in 2011. And so as I moved around the building in different roles over time and I took it with me, eventually a lot of the early problems with that job would be fixed. Some of them would remain for as long as I would remain at that company. Eventually, I would leave that company and take it on to a later employer and put it in my desk there. Now it's in my desk here at home. And I try to apply it with Final Trade too, and I've tried a lot. From the beginning of Final Trade, I've had this attitude that I will not be arguing with people in the comments on Final Trade videos. And I don't know if you've really ever noticed it. I don't comment much. I don't respond much in the comments on my videos anymore. I mostly just talk with my patrons on Patreon. But back when I did my personal policy for YouTube video comments was if someone left some kind of, negative shit posting kind of comment, I would respond. I would either present the data or just kind of present my idea about it or whatever, and then I would leave. I would never even come back to check again to see if they wanted to argue about it or if they would respond again. I would basically state my case in response to them and move on. But, there were always guys like Mango Man is a good example. People who posted great comments all the time for several years on this channel, and I've had many times with him where we will go back and forth talking about things, maybe even debating things. And if the discourse was positive, I would stay with it for as long as there was value to be gained. But I was not going to get into the kind of fighting comments back and forth that YouTube is, for some reason, so terrible for. And likewise, feuds with other creators. I don't feud with people. I present my evidence, I state the theory, and then I move on. And if people don't want to accept them, that's fine. I'm not worried. I have things to do. So I avoid those senseless contradictions with others. And, it's kind of a good way to live your life, and it makes things a lot easier. It's a funny timing for this video because I'm actually in two different disputes over products with people right now. One is a rather large dispute for about, golly, $13,000 of product. And another one is, smaller. It's only about $1,800. And, in both of them, I have to always try to remind myself these aren't like criminal gangsters who conspired to rip me off. Like, these are people running their own businesses and doing their own jobs also, and they probably have good intentions, and we're probably just misunderstanding each other and miscommunicating. And if we both act with goodwill and give things enough time, we'll probably figure out where the problem lies and get everything resolved. And I think both of those disputes will resolve fine, and I'm not going to lose huge amounts of money. But, it just takes time. It takes patience. It takes some confidence that not everyone is a bad actor. And I think as I get older, I realize that more and more, that most of the people you interact with are good, at least if they're kind of coming from our society. And that's kind of a hard thing to sum up or state. We have a very high trust society, which is very nice to have. It enables you to get a lot of work done and to live a much easier and better life when most people will trust each other with most things. And so most of the time when you're dealing in business, you can benefit from that. And you just have to learn to be patient with people and to act with goodwill and to avoid senseless contradictions with others. I don't think I have anything else to say about that. So, yeah. Let me know what you think, guys. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join me on Final Trade.